Hey, good morning, bud. Welcome back to the Hat and Beard Show. Appreciate you tuning in. It is Friday morning. We are enjoying a lovely end to the week, you guys. I've been on vacation. Hopefully, you've been either on vacation or chilling at work. But hey, guys, we got a little article here pulled up for you previewing the Detroit Lions Indianapolis Colts game this Sunday. I got here from the Pride of Detroit 10 keys on how the Lions can pull off a victory here over the Colts. Now, some of you might be wondering how it's even possible that the Lions could dare win a game in the NFL after certain NFL experts, so-called experts, said that there's no way the Lions could possibly win a Super Bowl with a civilian quarterback like Jared Goff, especially when you compare him to, say, Anthony Richardson, who is an athletic phenom, but a absolutely terrible quarterback at playing quarterback. He's an athletic phenomenon. It's insane to watch the guy play. You know, he can dominate you physically with his legs. He's got a cannon, just an absolute howitzer of an arm, but he can't really put it on target very well. And as we know, a couple weeks ago, well, Anthony Richardson, he gets a little tired from time to time, has to take himself out of the game. But what do I know? I'm just a guy in his garage studio broadcasting to you live from Garage Studio 1. It is the Hat and Beard Show, trying to understand how we're going to possibly win this game with such an absolutely civilian quarterback, such as Jared Goff, who should be leading the league for MVP voting, is poised to win this game, but we'll figure it out one way or another. Hey, guys, before we get into the article, do me a rock-solid favor. Go ahead and like the video if you enjoy what we do here. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and you want to keep up to date with everything. Ring the notification bell so that you never miss out on any updates here from the Hat and Beard Show. And go ahead and comment down below what you guys think. I really love the engagement. The last couple videos that we had out, you guys have been very active. I do try to respond to as many comments as possible because we are trying to cultivate a very engaged community here with the Hat and Beard Show. And you guys help make it possible. I wouldn't do it if you guys, weren't so active, weren't, constantly showing up, and I really appreciate that, guys. We are, as it sits right now at time of recording, we are 9 subscribers away from 600 subscribers, and that's insane to me to think that we're almost at 600 subscribers when a year ago we were just cracking over 200. I honestly didn't think that this was ever going to progress the way that it has been, and honestly, I'm not really doing this so much for the money, I guess. This is just, look, it just feels good to sit down and talk about the Lions with people, like-minded people who also enjoy talking about the Detroit Lions. Sorry, I got to pause the video here so we don't get clipped on a copyright here on the lower left-hand section before we get into it. All right, so now that we're through that, guys, I appreciate now that you subscribed, liked the video. You're probably commenting down below telling me how absolutely handsome I am in my winter gear because, as I said, Garage Studio 1, it's a little too cold for the Hawaiian shirt nowadays. So, guys, now that that's all out of the way, let's shift into turbo and get into it, fellas. All right, boys, coming to us from theprideofdetroit.com, the Honolulu Blueprint, 10 keys to, not concepts, 10 keys to a Lions victory over the Colts. 10 keys to the Detroit Lions victory over the Indianapolis Colts. It's the Honolulu Blueprint. Thank you, Eric Schlitt. Appreciate you coming in hot and heavy. Just wrote this and published it, this morning? Yep, November 2nd at 8 a.m. I appreciate you doing all your hard work, bud. Okay, so I actually did peruse this earlier, a little bit of offensive and defensive schemes on how the Colts can beat us. I looked at that a little bit earlier this morning when I was pooping, but didn't really feel like reading that to you guys. So let's keep it home cooking, right? For the Colts to beat us, we have to beat ourselves, and they have to play an absolutely perfect game. And I mean a perfect game. That's pretty hard to do against the Detroit Lions. You guys know that our team executes very well in all aspects of the game. And when we do have mishaps, it's hard because we don't allow our opponents to capitalize on our mistakes. All right, so here we go. Key number 1, establish the run. On paper, this looks like one of Detroit's biggest advantages. The Colts, on average, allow 143 rushing yards per game, good for 28th in the NFL. 3.22 yards after contact, good for 28th in the NFL, and have given up the most 10-plus yard rushes in the NFL, with 48 allowed this season. Wow, that's pretty bad. Now, some of that can be attributed to injuries, But they also run a wide 9 approach using the defensive ends, leaves them vulnerable to offensive lines, right? Exactly. I hate the wide 9. You have to have very athletic very good linebackers to be able to execute the wide 9. The wide 9 leaves them vulnerable to offensive lines to execute gap and dual block schemes, which the Lions do at an absolute elite level. We are so good. We do a ton of gap blocking, which is, I call it more of zone blocking, and then we do a lot of double teams. We do a ton of double teams where we execute and push so well up to the second level. Our offensive line is so good at securing the first level and engaging and then securing the second level. I mean, Penei Sewell is one of the best downfield blockers. I mean, the Houston game, Cassimi Lassiter. I think it's Cassimi Lassiter. I mean, he got a concussion trying to run away from Penei Sewell because he didn't want to get hit. Heading into this game, the Lions are producing an average of 152 rush yards a game, good for third in the NFL, 1.92 yards after contact, good for fifth, and have produced 40 rushes of 10 yards or more, good for sixth. Additionally, we're the only team in NFL history to rush for 100 plus and score a touchdown in each of our first 10 games. That is an awesome statistic. They're the only team in NFL history to rush for 100 plus yards and score a touchdown in each of the first 10 games. Their rushing touchdown streak actually dates back 24 consecutive games, including playoffs, which is the longest streak in NFL history. And that's all because of our offensive line and Jahmyr Gibbs, but mostly because of the hammer, Knuckles himself, David Montgomery. Look for the Lions to follow their rushing pattern and attack the ground game early in the game, with Monty shifting to Gibbs in the middle quarters and then finishing off with Monty in the final quarter. That's kind of what we do is we punch him in the mouth with Monty early, then we make him chase with Jahmyr Gibbs, and then we just continue to pummel them with David Montgomery. Key number 2, our offensive line needs to reach the second level of the defense. What was I just talking about? In order for the rushing attack to work properly, the Lions' offensive line needs to make sure that they're reaching the second level with their block. Come on, get off. There you go. Running gap concepts and executing dual blocks should allow them to accomplish this in a manner in which they have thrived in the past. We just talked about that. So good at getting upfield onto the second level, getting a hat on a man, engaging their man. Because, I mean, honestly, if you think about it, most linebackers are going to top out at, the 240, 250 range? You know what I'm saying? Unless you're running like a 3-4 and your outside linebackers are really defensive ends, so you're pushing in the 270s. So you're gonna match up a 256 foot 2 linebacker on a full head of steam, 310 pounds, 6'6" Penei Sewell, all world Penei Sewell, generational talent. Penei Sewell should have been taken number one in the draft. Penei Sewell. Come on now. You're going to stop that? You're going to get mauled. You're going to get absolutely mauled. Or you're going to try and spin around him, in which case, the way that our zone scheme tends to work, you're going to get caught up in the wash. So the only option is to either get caught in the wash and completely decommit from your job, or try and take Penei Sewell head on, and 9 times out of 10, Penei Sewell is just going to absolutely manhandle you. Key number 3. Play action all day long, because if we're going to run the ball, we're going to build off of it, and we're going to run play action. So expect to see some JMO running deep downfield. We know we like to go play action deep to JMO. Jared Goff is one of the better play action pass quarterbacks in the NFL. The Colts in zone coverage, roughly 80% of the time, running a bend, don't break style of coverage where they keep everything in front of them. The Colts attack the run downhill and can get caught over pursuing with their aggressiveness. Exactly. And we know we like to run the ball. So not only do they have a tendency to get caught being too aggressive, but they're going to be in their own heads knowing they have to stop our run. So they're going to have just that second, that little bit of space, that delay where they're committing and JMO's running past them. That's what happens when you have an elite wide receiver with elite speed like Jameson Williams. You get to take advantage of very, very small mistakes on the defense. It's a simple task, but the Lions are one of the best play-action teams in the NFL. Detroit can establish, run, and move the back 7 off their spots. Jared Goff accurately can slice them up. Oh, excuse me, fellas. And that protein shake, it's kind of gurgling on through this morning. You know, we like to get a nice little morning workout in before we start our day. Little tip for y'all: if you're having a rough go of it, I know it means kind of committing a little bit more time to your morning. I'm lucky that I work off shift, so I have all this extra time. But get up a little bit earlier and try and get even a very basic 20-minute workout of it in. I find myself, Hat and Boobs has also come around to it, that when you wake up in the morning and you can get a workout in before you start anything about your day, it just makes everything tenfold easier. And because I've been trying to be healthier, I would recommend starting your day off with a protein shake. Go to the store, get yourself some Jocko Milk. That's pretty good stuff. Unless you have, a sensitivity to like dairy or whey, Jocko Milk tastes really, really, really good. And little fun hack, okay? So get yourself a blender bottle, like a shaker bottle. Put 4 or 5 ice cubes in it. Then fill it then after your ice cubes, then throw your protein powder right on top, right? And then pour like a third to half of your shaker bottle with, I drink lactose-free milk, so lactose-free milk. I'm not lactose intolerant, but it's just a lot easier on the guts. With milk, and then fill the last 16 ounces with coffee, hot coffee. Shake it up. Oh, dude, tastes like hot chocolate. It's so good. It's so good. Also, fun fact, if you really want to get into the hack mode, take half a scoop of chocolate Jocko powder and half a scoop of vanilla Jocko powder and mix them together. It tastes like a Frosty, dude. Yeah, it tastes like a Frosty. All right, back to the ranch here, fellas. Key number 4, take advantage of matchups. The Colts have arguably the best nickel corner in the game in Kenny Moore when Brian Branch is playing safety. And when he is covering Amon-Ra St. Breezy, it'll be a challenging task to get the elite weapon. Pardon me, 5th grade reading level. It'll be a challenging task to get the elite weapon the ball. Though there are ways to scheme him open, in addition to using play action, the Lions can also put St. Brown in motion pre-snap, run crossing routes away from Moore's zone, among other manipulative tasks, because they do like to run more zone. They're not really into the man coverage. Beyond St. Brown, the Colts will also have to put themselves in a situation where linebackers will be tasked with covering running backs and tight ends out of the backfield, which can also present an advantage to the Lions. You're damn right. And that's why we took Jahmyr Gibbs in the first round, because he is a mismatch nightmare for defensive coordinators. The key will be to the Colts to identifying the Colts' coverage matchups and then take advantage, and which we've seen Jared Goff do time and time again. The dude's starting to turn into Peyton Manning with his pre-snap reads, constantly audibling, kill. Remember, guys, we got to kill with JG16. I'm not looking. The one thing I would like to see St. Brown do, just a sidebar, I would like to see St. Brown continue to get the touchdown streaks for the franchise. I think he has 7. I think it'll be 8 consecutive games, which will set a new record. But I'm actually expecting Sam Laporta and Jameson Williams to do more damage against this Colts defense than Amon-Ra St. Brown. Again, because Kenny Moore is very, very good, and Amon-Ra is the one. So you're going to try and scheme him out of the game. This is where we're very, very blessed in having that toolbox mentality on offense where we can just continue to pull players and next man up mentality. You scheme out Amon-Ra. Okay, well, now you have to figure out how to stop J-Mo. Well, then there's also Fireball Tim Patrick, big-bodied guy. Then there's Sam Laporta. Then there's Sonic and Knuckles. There's just too many weapons. Key number 5, prioritize stopping the run, win at the point of attack. As we highlighted in our breakdown of the Colts schemes, Indianapolis' new offensive identity appears to rest establishing the run. Last week, the Colts ran the ball 35 times as a way of keeping their offense in rhythm and aiding quarterback Anthony Richardson in his confidence. Oh, you mean not letting him get tired? Because he gets tired and has to take himself out of the game sometimes. While the Colts want to run the ball, they're still not very good at it. The Jets are number 24 DVOA run defense, and the Colts only managed 91 yards on 35 attempts. That's not going to cut it. Things get harder for them this week when the Lions' number 5 DVOA rush defense comes to town. Detroit is currently averaging just 94.8 rush yards per game, good for 5th in the best in the NFL. We're giving up 94.8 rush yards in the game, and are coming off games where they only allowed 41 to the Jags, 56 to Houston. And that Houston game started to look like Joe Mixon was going to kind of get cut loose, start breaking loose, but then the second half adjustments. We have gotten so good at making second half adjustments, both offensively and defensively. The key will be stopping the run at the point of attack, and that begins with Lee McNeil disrupting the middle of the offensive line, which is, if you pay attention to the last couple weeks, Lee McNeil has been more of our pass rush guy. Obviously, Zadarius Smith will help with that, but Lee McNeil has been more of our penetrating pass rush guy, and we're allowing DJ Reader to sit and eat up blocks, which again allows our linebackers to run free. How will our rush defense hold up, though, without Alex Anzalone? Personally, I think Action Jack Campbell is going to flourish now. I think Action Jack Campbell is going to take an even larger step now mid-season than he was the whole season. He had already taken a huge step between his freshman and his sophomore campaigns. And I think now with Alex Anzalone being out, being more of a coach on the sidelines, being able to tap into him, being able to utilize that and not require him to make so many adjustments worrying about his job, I think you're going to see Action Jack Campbell take a larger step the next few weeks heading into the playoffs. I think we're going to see the emergence of Action Jack Campbell. Key 6, stay disciplined, hold your gaps. The Lions need to be disciplined, setting the edge and watching for cutback lanes. If they can play contain and maintain their gaps, they'll limit the Colts' ability to establish a run through traditional methods. In addition to standard runs, the Colts like to create eye candy and pre-snap, with pre and post-snap movements to try to fool linebackers. One of the more unique ways the Colts disguise intentions is by pulling off an interior offensive lineman in one direction and running the play in the opposite direction. Right, because you're taught to follow the guards. If you see a guard pull, typically follow the guard. He's going to lead you, guard tackle, whoever's pulling. Okay, typically you see guards pull. Penei Sewell is one of the few tackles who can pull. Sometimes Frank Ragnow will pull. But traditionally, you see your guards being pulled. And a lot of times, 99% of the time, if you follow your pulling guard, he's going to lead you right to where the play is going. So they try and get a little cute with it. Shane Steichen tries to get a little cute with it with his Anthony Richardson. Okay. A subtle advantage the Lions have with RPO and PRO and zone reads is that the assistant head coach and running back coach Scotty Montgomery is well known for coaching profession as being master of these concepts. And correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below, but didn't Scotty Montgomery come from Indy? I think he was at Indy before he came to replace Deuce Staley when Deuce Staley went to Carolina. Key number 7, watch the pro left when Ashton Doolin is on the field. Against the Jets, Richardson ran the ball 10 times, 3 zone reads, and 7 on disguised PRO runs. Each time they ran pro left, they did it with reserve wideout Ashton Doolin on the left side of the field, either lining up tight or shifting into pre-snap. This is a key because Richardson scored both his rushing touchdowns on pro runs to left behind key blocks from Doolin. The Colts don't run pro left every time Doolin gets on the field, but it appears to be enough of a pattern the Lions would be paying attention to. So keep an eye on that. Ashton Doolin's been in the league for a couple of years. Pretty good at downfield blocking. They're clearly, they're tipping their hand a little bit when he comes on the field. And again, this is something that the Lions have struggled with since Dan Campbell came to town. Because we are so engaged in man coverage and everyone doing their job that unless you commit a man to spy on the quarterback, we do tend to leave running lanes open for quarterbacks to slip out of the pocket, especially without Hutch there to put pressure on and collapse the pocket down. Zadarius Smith will help. Lee McNeil will help. But we do need to make sure to keep an eye on Anthony Richardson because there is a scenario where Richardson just decides to run all over Hell's Half Acre and show us exactly what a non-civilian quarterback can do. And Nick writes a douche. Key 8, we're hanging in there, fellas. We're almost there. Cover the middle of the field. Richardson has always been a deep ball thrower against the Jets. He showed the development to add more short passes to his range, although not accurate. Despite a powerful arm, he struggles with accuracy on outside throws and tends to favor throws over the middle of the field. If the Lions can create traffic and close windows, they'll make life harder for Richardson. But if they can bait him into throws right there, if they can bait him into throws, he doesn't want to make the Lions safeties skills to cover, create turnovers. And that's exactly it. Dude, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph can bait adamant pros. Kirby Joseph basically baited Aaron Rodgers until his career was done in Green Bay. Brian Branch baits guys into making bad throws and just pops up out of nowhere. What you're going to see from our defense, more than likely, is you're going to see the difference between an elite level athletic quarterback and an elite defensive team, right? Our entire defensive team is better than the Colts offense. We have wittier players, we have more athletic players, we have better coaching staff to put our hyper-athletic players into positions to succeed. And I think what you're going to find is Richardson is going to get confused. He's going to make bad, ill-advised throws, not so much off-platform. Maybe Smith can add some pressure. Maybe McNeil can add some pressure. But you're going to see him making bad decisions. And when bad decisions are made against the Lions safeties, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph tend to make you pay for those mistakes. And that's not taking anything away from our corners. Meek Robinson, Carlton Davis, and Terry and Arnold have all been outstanding. But, it is what it is. I think what you're going to see is a couple. I think you might see two INTs, one from each of the safeties on Sunday. Number 9, Josh Downs on third down. He's more Richardson's target now. Richardson prefers to target Downs on third down when throwing over the middle. Downs has a knack for getting open quickly. When the Lions run man coverage, the defender will have a tough assignment. If the Lions can execute some split zone concepts, use more zone coverage, and passing situations to disguise intentional coverage, they can stunt the Colts' opportunities. So he's kind of their weapon, their third down guy right now. Michael Pittman's not necessarily that guy as much as Downs. You see a little bit of relationship building between Downs and Richardson. I'm not too worried about it. I think that what you'll see with Josh Downs is the same thing you've seen with Evan Ingram last week, where you'll go to him a couple of times on the first 2 drives, and Brian Branch will introduce himself very early on and very regularly until they stop going to him, because that guided missile is going to come in and just take your head off. And key number 10, blitzing causes disruption. Finally, we get to the blitz. Since week 7, the Lions have blitzed more frequently than any team in the NFL and have been timing when the blitz can cause disruption. Richardson has struggled with the blitz since he entered the league because he only played 15 games in college, as he lacks awareness to see or feel the blitz coming. And he freezes. Making matters worse, the Colts will likely be, that's right, the Colts have 3 rookie offensive linemen, and they're also looking to pick up the blitz groups. Their tackle, it looks like he's going to be trending down. The one rookie that they do have playing I did like was Tanner Bortolini out of, I think, Wisconsin. But they're going to have youth up front. It's the type of game where you'd really like to see Hutch be able to take advantage of things. Oh, well, what you going to do? You know, ultimately I think we're going to come out ahead. I think we're going to come out and lay the lumber down on Indy. Boat race offense if you want, but I think we're just going to physically abuse them. It will be, I don't want to say it, but I've just got this feeling. I got this feeling in my balls that it's going to be like the Jacksonville game. We're just going to take over early and just keep our foot on the throat until all 4 quarters are done. I think Dan Campbell's trying to send a message. I really do. I think our coaching staff's trying to send a message. It started with Dallas when we were playing games with Dan Skipper, lining up at wide receiver. I really think that our offense and our defense is just too much for the Colts to handle. You know, the Colts have the ability to be good. Jonathan Taylor is a very good running back. Anthony Richardson, if he had the right toolage and could sit for 2 years, he could be very, very good. But I just don't think they have it this year. I don't think their defense is going to be able to hold up against the physicality of our offense. And the same goes for their offense. I think you're going to see, I really do think that Brian Branch is now the tone setter for the defense. I think you're going to see him light some guys up, and that'll be about it. And the offense is going to just pack it in and get ready for Week 13. So let me know what you guys think down below. I know it's got a little long in the tooth, a little long-winded, but hey, I appreciate hanging out with me if you did. It's going to be it for me. You guys try and have yourself a good rest of the week. Enjoy the upcoming weekend. Hopefully the Lions win. Comment down below if you're still here, if you want me to maybe go live before the game. We've done that a couple of times, and it can be fun. So that's going to be it for me, fellas. I've been Hat and Beard. You've been an attentive audience. Thanks for sticking around, hanging out with me. Bonga bonga. Frig off.